Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to what's been happening with the Cleveland Browns over the past few weeks, you know that the team is navigating a pretty intense period of roster adjustments and strategic moves. And honestly, it's quite fascinating to see how all these pieces are falling into place as they gear up for what could be a pivotal season in their franchise history. One of the latest developments that's been making waves involves wide receiver Chase Cota, a player many of you might have been curious about, especially given the Browns' recent roster shuffles. So, let's break it down. The Browns signed Chase Cota on August 1st, a move that initially seemed promising. They brought him in to add some much-needed depth to their wide receiver core. Cota, for those who might not be familiar, has had quite a journey through the NFL already, bouncing around 5 different teams before landing in Cleveland. That kind of movement isn't uncommon for players trying to find a solid spot, especially undrafted guys like Cota who are fighting to make an impact. Coming out of Oregon, where he played 4 seasons, Cota caught 103 passes for 380 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's a pretty respectable college career, and he also spent 3 years at UCLA, which shows he's experienced at different programs and systems. But as we've seen in the NFL, college success doesn't always translate immediately to the pros. During the Browns' first preseason game, Cota only had 2 targets but didn't make a catch. It's just preseason, but it's always a little sign of where a player stands. Since then, the Browns have been shuffling their wide receiver group quite a bit. They've waived several players: Luke Floria, Michael Woods, Winston Wright, and Yalen Gill. It's clear that Cleveland is trying to find the right chemistry, the right mix of pass-catching options, especially with the regular season approaching. Now, it's worth noting that Luke Floria's departure was partly due to injury. Coach Kevin Stefanski mentioned that Floria suffered a serious hamstring injury, which obviously complicates things. And for Floria, that's a tough break because he had been doing well in camp and preseason. You see, Floria was a bit of a surprise standout early on, signing as a tryout player during rookie minicamp and making a good impression. The fact that he's a Kent State alum adds a little local flavor for Ohio fans, and his early performance had many thinking he might crack the roster. However, with the injury, the Browns decided to move on, but here's the interesting part. There's still hope that Floria could return to Cleveland. According to insiders, no surgery is needed, and he's expected to be out for only 2-3 weeks. That's a relatively quick recovery, and the Browns are apparently keen on bringing him back once he's healthy, especially since he impressed early in camp and preseason. There's talk that he could even be a prime candidate for the practice squad, which would give him another shot to develop and potentially contribute during the regular season. But beyond Floria, what about the rest of the receiver group? Well, outside of Jerry Jeudy and maybe Cedric Tillman, the Browns are still searching for that reliable, consistent pass catcher. Jeudy, of course, has been a big name since the Browns traded for him last offseason. He had an outstanding year, catching 90 passes for 229 yards and 4 touchdowns. That set a high bar for himself, and he's eager to surpass it this season. When he talks about his goals, Jeudy is clear. He wants to be better than he was last year, whether that's adding a few more yards, catches, or touchdowns. But he's not obsessing over personal stats. Instead, he's taking it one game at a time, focusing on continuous improvement and helping the team win. And that brings us to the quarterback situation, which is a crucial element in all of this. The Browns are currently engaged in a 4-man competition for the starting role. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and the young Shedeur Sanders. Right now, the expectation is that Flacco, with his extensive experience and leadership, will be the Week 1 starter. But of course, nothing is set in stone, and as the season approaches, these battles could get even more intense. Flacco at 40 might seem like a veteran presence, but he's still got plenty to offer, especially in terms of leadership and game management. The team is hoping he can provide stability at the quarterback position, which has been a bit of a question mark for Cleveland in recent years. Now, circling back to those roster moves, you might be wondering how all of this fits into the bigger picture of the Browns' strategy. Well, Cleveland is clearly trying to build a balanced, versatile team. They've added pass rusher Titus Leo, a former sixth-round pick who has appeared in 4 career games with the Patriots. Leo's addition signals that the Browns are looking to bolster their pass rush, which has been a point of concern at times. Every move seems to be aimed at creating more depth and competition across the roster, which is vital in the NFL, especially in a division as tough as the AFC North. Speaking of the division, the AFC North has been incredibly competitive recently, with teams like Baltimore and Pittsburgh making strong moves. The Browns want to position themselves as serious contenders, and that means not only upgrading their roster, but also ensuring that every player, from the stars to the practice squad guys, is prepared to step up when called upon. The fact that players like Floria are being given opportunities, and that the coaching staff is emphasizing health and development, shows Cleveland's commitment to building a sustainable, winning culture. And let's not forget, the expectations are high this year. After coming so close last season, falling just short of the playoffs, the Browns are hungry to take that next step. They want to make a deep postseason run, and that means having a solid, reliable team on both sides of the ball. The wide receiver position, with Jerry Jeudy leading the charge, is a key part of that puzzle. Judy's goal of improving and surpassing his previous stats is backed by the desire to be a more complete player, and with the potential stability at quarterback, Cleveland's offense could be more dynamic than ever. Of course, it's not just about individual talent. It's about chemistry, cohesion, and consistency. The Browns have been working tirelessly to find the right combinations, and as preseason continues, these battles for roster spots will intensify. Every snap, every target, every play counts, and the coaching staff is watching closely. They want to put the best possible team on the field, one that can handle the pressure of the AFC North and make a real push in the postseason. In the bigger picture, this roster shuffling and player development reflect the Browns' broader philosophy, building a team that's versatile, resilient, and ready to compete at the highest level. The fans are eagerly awaiting the kickoff, dreaming of more playoff success, and perhaps even a Super Bowl appearance. Cleveland has had its share of ups and downs over the decades, but the current regime is focused on turning the page, and these roster moves are part of that strategy. Now, as we look ahead, it's clear that there's still a lot to watch. Will Floria come back strong after his injury? Will the young wide receivers step up? How will the quarterback battle unfold? And most importantly, can Cleveland finally break through and claim their spot among the NFL's elite? These questions will be answered in the coming weeks, but one thing is for sure, the Browns are not standing still. They're actively shaping their future, and every move they make is a step toward their ultimate goal, a Super Bowl championship. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these roster changes? Do you believe Floria can make a comeback and earn a spot? Are you confident in Judy's pursuit of improvement? Who do you think will ultimately win the quarterback competition? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.